Good day, dear colleagues. I would like to present you an article on the topic features of information system development of interactive communication in foreign languages. Communication makes it possible to obtain the necessary information, helps with online communication, and it also a powerful impetus in the transition to a new level of communication. Today, the global network is the most popular among society of various age categories and social groups, especially among young people, and when there is need to communicate with foreign language users, many interlocutors face a language barrier. Learning a new language can take years, and the need to communicate information is immediate. Using the services of professional translators requires a significant financial costs, and very few translators are fluent in more than one or two languages. So there is a need to find a new translator which translates from and to different languages according to the needs. The development of an interacting correspondence system in foreign languages is necessary to solve the problem of the language barrier. The system should provide high quality and fast translation between many languages. Such a system helps users communicate on the internet. This approach can be used both for official correspondence and for communication with friends. The algorithms of the system can also be applied in other fields, for example, for translating numerous documents and sending them between users, or for speech recognition and automatic translation. As the accuracy of machine translation improves, the possible fields of the system increases. The conducted analysis showed that there are many methods and techniques of machine translation. In order to determine the optimal ones, we will conduct this research. In general, the following methods of machine translation can be distinguished. First is translation based on dictionary. This translation methods take into account sections of the language dictionary, where the translated text is formatted using the corresponding words or equivalent words contained in the dictionary. Second is translation based on rules. This machine translation engine takes into account etymological data about dialects and sentence structure, covering the primary semantic, morphological, and semantical patterns of each dialect separately. Next is machine translation based on the knowledge. This type of system is centered around the lexical concept, which represents a specific domain. Next, corpus machine translation. Since 1989, corpus-based machine translation methodology has become one of the most actively studied areas in the field of machine translation, and use a variety of methods capable of providing high accuracy in the three-way translation. Next is aesthetical approach. This method uses statistical techniques to generate a translated form using bilingual corpora. Next one is a statistical approach to the world-based machine translation model. The basic unit of this methodology is a word. Next, neural machine translation. Based on example. This innovative method of machine translations, where machines learn to translate through one large neural network consisting of many computing devices, studying the structure of the brain. Hybrid machine translation is the last one. it represents the integration of different approaches to machine translation with different options, resulting in high quality translation at high speed. The purpose of research is to develop a prototype of a mobile system of interactive correspondence in foreign language, just to simplify the communication process between foreigners. The main goal of the system is not to compete with professional translations. This machine translation has not yet reached to appropriate level, but the system should provide the most but the system settings and selected means of implementation should provide the most accurate translation. A convenient and understandable user interface is also an important task that is solved. Such a system should require a minimum of effort from the user. The results of research solve the actual scientific and practical task of providing a tool that can be used both when communicating with a business partner and when group correspondence between friends, relatives, or acquaintances. Next slide. The first step is to design the system. It's a process of creating a detailed plan or model for the implementation of system with certain functional requirements and characteristics. This phase of system development defines exactly how the system will be built, interact with users and other components, and how to provide the required functionality and performance. Next is activity chart. Activity diagram is one of the types of the diagram in UML, Unified Model Language, which is used to model the sequence of actions, processes, and behavior of a system or object. The developer diagram clearly shows how the system works and what its components are. In this diagram, step-by-step execution is performed with the possibility of branching and returning to previous stages. Next slide is a sequence diagram. The next stage was a selection of the next stage was a sequence diagram. It helps clarify the order of operations as well as identify parallel processes and interactions between objects in the system. In this type of diagram, the interaction of the selected system objects are at a certain point in time is demonstrated. Next stage was with the selection of mathematical support of the given task implementation. In general, the task of machine translation is to translate input sentence F in the language into an output sentence E in another language that must have the same meanings as F. Now, this is done by building a static model that represents the translation processes. Brown P presented a source channel model where the language of the original sentence E is considered as generated by the source, which is probably P of E determined by the language model, and this is passed through a translation channel to generate sentences of the input, language F, according to the translation probability of PFEA. The task of the translation system is to determine from the received sentence F. Yes, next slide is the next stage was the creation of a functional model using the algebra algorithms. The first step is the synthesis of unit terms. It's just some of units you can see at the work, but main unit terms are The S is the unit of the loading of the system and the setting in the initial setting. R, the new user registration. L is a unit term of entry into the system, and others. Okay, next stage. On the next slide, the developed system, you can see a main interface of it. The developed system is characterized by an intuitive interface and described functionality. When logging into the system from the mobile application, the user is prompted to select the functionality that needs to be obtained. Next, after logging in, a list of available rooms is displayed, allowing you to choose and start chatting. So in figure 6, you can see the use of the such available functions as creating a new room or quick search. Okay, by opening the user profile, you can view or change the name, mail, passwords, and translation language before the starting conversation or reviewing messages. You must select the desired room. Yeah. Next slide is the results. Okay. As a result of the conducted research, the existing methods and known systems that provide means of correspondence in foreign languages were analyzed. Technologies and software tools of correspondence in foreign languages were analyzed as well, which made it possible to identify the peculiarities of existing approaches. As the analysis showed, today there are many software systems, but all of them are characterized by certain shortcomings from the commercial prospects of the application to limited functionality, which make the task of developing an information system for correspondence in foreign language urgent. And one of the things I said that further research will be directed to testing and improving the system, eliminating conflicts, and explaining functionality in accordance with the specified requirements. Thank you for your attention.